Alright, welcome to the second part of how to light with ambient light. This time we talk about a real lighting technique, the cove light. What that is, essentially you bounce a key light into a fabric and you also use the fade of the light to let it wrap around your subject. In this case, that'll be me. But it's not the same kind of wrap around you see with a parabolic diffusion. It is more wrap arounding the whole scene. It is a beautiful lighting technique, but also one you're not really able to control that easy. So let's get into the setup, and I try to keep it as budget friendly as possible. So most of the things you see to achieve the cove light are things you find at home anyway, and especially if you're a photographer. The most important part of a cove light is the fabric that you use and the way you shape it. So what you see here is not muslin fabric. These are two normal blankets, but they have this unbleached color. Not really as dark as unbleached muslin, but it is also not pure white. You gotta understand, light is a waveform, and everything light hits, it bounces back. So if you see the color red, blue or green, what happens is that the subject that got hit by the light, by the sunlight, bounces back just green, red or even blue. And this unbleached fabric, it gives your skin this warm tone with the soft wraparound. It's just great to work with in post. Let's get to my key light. I'm using the iFootage SL1 320DN. It is pure daylight, so 5600 Kelvin, and yes, it is the most purest daylight you can get at this price range. It is pretty cheap, even though it's more than $700, but compared with ARRI Hollywood lighting, well. And as my pill light, I used the already diffused LED panel from Falcon Eye, and I set it to 3%. So it is just supporting the fade of the light to give it a little bit more kick into the shadow. I used the background paper just to cut the light from spilling against the ceiling and bouncing back into my background. So I give my frame a little bit more depth of field and achieve that I'm the brightest part of, except for the ambient light. You would never use this kind of ambient light in, let's say, a movie scene, because it's just too harsh. It doesn't have a diffusion, but that's the only light I have that is that tall. But what I also achieve with stopping the light from spilling against the ceiling is that the shadows that the ambient light produces itself, I am able to keep them even though I fill in so much light into the room. So as you see here, the key light, the fill light. So you see here all the shadows, the shape of the ambient light, and this is actually really how we sit in this room and watch TV. So again, the key light, the fill light. So that's the beauty of cove light, because you get this realistic look with keeping the shadows of the ambient light, but also be able to justify your lighting with the ambient light. And it doesn't always have to be a key light, backlight, kicker light to make it cinematic, because that's not the way we light our rooms. You're achieving the cinematic look with keeping the light realistic, not naturally, so you wouldn't be able to see me if I would just light myself with the ambient light. Then alright, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you in the next one.